In the year 1980, Kim Man-seob is a widower who is fighting to make ends meet as a taxi driver in Seoul. He is burdened with a lot of debt. The fact that he is having financial difficulties causes him to frequently neglect his young daughter, whom he loves very much, but who he lives with. One day, as he was driving about the city, he overheard another taxi driver bragging about a lucrative job that would pay him 100,000 won to bring a foreign client to Gwangju. Man-seob makes the decision to steal the job because he is driven by both despair and greed. He picks up the client, Jürgen Peter, Peter, a German journalist who is determined to report on the rising civil upheaval in Gwangju without having a complete understanding of the situation in Gwangju. Before we move on, if you're enjoying this recap and would like to be kept up to speed with other fantastic stories like this one, make sure that you click the button that says subscribe and that you enable notifications. We are extremely grateful for your support. As they get closer to Gwangju, the roads are tightly patrolled by soldiers who are using martial law to enforce the law. Despite the fact that Man-seob is first skeptical and anxious about continuing, he is able to pass past a checkpoint with Peter, who is pretending to be a business people. When the two individuals enter the city, they are confronted with a striking contrast to what they saw in Seoul. The streets are packed with demonstrators, the majority of whom are young students seeking freedom and democracy. Almost immediately, they come across a bunch of college students, one of whom is a young man named Jae-sik who is both nice and determined. Because they are interested in Peter's mission, the students get to know him more and offer him and his companion to ride in their pickup truck. Despite this, Man-seob, who is terrified of the chaos that is brewing, makes the decision to go back. While he is traveling, he comes across an elderly woman who is looking for her son with absolute desperation. As he is experiencing a twinge of remorse, he gives in and agrees to accompany her to a nearby hospital. When they go there, they find out that her son is one of the college students who is protesting. During this time, Peter confronts Man-seob about abandoning the assignment since he is experiencing frustration due to his reluctance. In an effort to persuade him to remain, Peter proposes that he pay a portion of the fare in advance. On the other hand, the college students and cab drivers in the area, upon realizing Peter's intention, demand that Peter should not pay until the task is finished. They consider Peter's work to be of utmost importance in bringing the truth about Gwangju to the attention of the world. Despite his reluctance, Man-seob continues on with the path. He takes Peter and Jae-sik to a demonstration that is taking place at the provincial office, where they see a large gathering of civilians meeting together to show their support for the cause. In spite of the fact that there is a potential for violence, the demonstrators welcome the three individuals with food, presents, and words of support. As soon as Peter starts shooting, the peaceful demonstration quickly devolves into pandemonium when government soldiers begin to ruthlessly crack down on the protesters. Peter is subjected to an attempt at arrest by plainclothes officers from the Defense Security Command, DSC, who are drawn to his activities as a result of his actions. There is a stressful pursuit that takes place, but Man-seob, Peter, and Jae-sik manage to avoid being captured. However, Man-seob's taxi breaks down that evening, leaving them unable to get anywhere. In a gesture of generosity, Tae-soo, a taxi driver in the area, offers the men a place to stay for the night while he tows the taxi to his vehicle repair shop. They form a bond with Tae-soo and his family as they are eating supper together. The news that the local television station has been bombed, on the other hand, shatters the little respite that they had been enjoying. As Peter rushes to the location, He takes a video of the city's state of disarray and the destruction that has occurred. The officers from the DSC recognize him, which results in yet another heated pursuit with them. Jae-sik is taken into custody while Man-seob is subjected to harsh beatings during the pursuit. In the moments before he is taken away, Jae-sik begs Peter to make sure that the truth about Gwangju is visible to the entire world, even if it means sacrificing his own life. The following morning, Man-seob makes the decision to depart for Seoul, despite the fact that he is split between his obligation to Peter and his anxiety for his daughter. He is able to successfully breeze through a checkpoint by utilizing false license plates from Gwangju that were provided by Tae-soo. However, when he listens to a radio broadcast that incorrectly blames North Korean infiltrators for the violence that occurred in Gwangju, he is feeling an overwhelming sense of shame. Because he is unable to leave the people he has met, he decides to go back. As he makes his way back to the hospital, he discovers that Peter is utterly heartbroken by the atrocities he has seen and that Tae-soo is grieving the loss of Jae-sik. Peter receives encouragement from Man-seob to carry on with his work, and he is reminded of the significance of revealing to the world what is taking place. The two of them travel together to a demonstration in the street, where soldiers open fire on citizens without discrimination, even those who are attempting to rescue those who have been injured. It is a brave act that Man-seob and the other local taxi drivers use their vehicles to bring injured demonstrators to safety, despite the fact that they are in danger. After some time has passed, Man-seob and Peter intend to go from Gwangju by way of a rocky road. They come upon a heavily armed checkpoint, where a suspicious sergeant examines the vehicle where they are traveling. Despite the fact that he discovers the false license plates from Seoul, he allows them to pass. On the other hand, as they are leaving, soldiers receive orders to stop any foreigners and open fire on the taxi. At this point, a dramatic pursuit takes place, during which local cab drivers give their lives in order to obstruct the DSC officers, which ultimately enables Man-seob and Peter to escape. As the two men arrive at the airport, they exchange a tearful farewell with one another. Peter, who is appreciative of Man-seob's bravery, inquires about his name and the number of his phone. In spite of this, Man-seob, who is reluctant to expose his true identity, writes down the name Kim Sabok and the phone number of an unknown cigarette company in Peter's notebook to protect his anonymity. The atrocities that occurred during the Gwangju Uprising are brought to the attention of the entire world by Peter, who visits Germany and broadcasts his footage. Following his return to Seoul, Man-seob is able to reunite with his daughter and resume his job as a cab driver. The events that took place in Gwangju and the people he left behind continue to haunt him, despite the fact that he is relieved to be back at home. If you have been impacted by this story as much as it has inspired us, then you should definitely subscribe to our channel so that you can watch more intriguing narratives like this one. Please be sure to give the video a thumbs up and leave your feedback in the comments section below. In the year 2003, Peter gets honored in South Korea with a publication prize for his innovative report. In the course of his acceptance speech, He conveys his deepest thanks to Kim Sabok, the enigmatic taxi driver who put his life in danger in order to assist him. Peter acknowledges that he has spent a very long time looking for Mansiob, but he has not been successful in his search. After reading about Peter's remarks in a newspaper, Mansiob sits quietly and contemplates the experience that they have both had. He mutters to himself that he now feels a greater sense of gratitude towards Peter and that he also misses him. The movie comes to a close with a memorial to the actual Jürgen Peter, Hinz Peter, who passed away in 2016 without ever getting back together with Kim Sabok. A video of Peter conveys his unwavering desire to meet the courageous taxi driver who was responsible for the transformation of his life. I am grateful that you observed this summary. Ensure that you subscribe to receive further riveting tales from the annals of cinematic history. Have a good time in the following video.